Hello everyone, it's Vicki here today, designing for Simple Stories, and today I am using the new Summer Lovin Collection. And I was inspired by the parasol here on this piece of paper, and I wanted to do a big one onto the page as my background. So I'm going to start on a scrap piece of white cardstock, drawing a circle, and I'm going to split it into 8 parts. So I'm going to do a horizontal and a vertical line through it. And then I'm going to measure the halfway point between the 2 lines, and I'm going to draw lines across to split it that way. And you'll see how that works. I'm just doing it there. It's quite easy to split into 8. Hexagon's slightly more difficult with the 6, but the 8 is nice and easy. And then I'm going to draw a line connecting each section. In fact, I didn't really need to do this whole thing, I realised afterwards, but with all the sections, I just needed one segment to be a template. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to add a little piece at the bottom of the parasol by hand. I'm just going to freehand draw it, and then I'm going to cut out just that one segment as a template. So there we go. Yeah, the rest of it's not actually needed, but I needed to draw the whole circle to get the even 8 sections anyway, so I'll use that piece of cardstock later for something else. So what I'm going to do here is find a couple of patterned papers, and I'm going to cut out 4 segments from each, and I settle on this fabulous stripe and also the yellow gingham from the 6x8 paper pack. So I'm going to skip through that in a minute, but I just draw out 4 shapes of each colour, and try and be economical with the paper, and there they are all cut out there. So the next thing I'm going to do is bend up those flaps of the parasol. So I just want to bend it up and down so that there's a nice sharp line across it, which you can see more on the close-ups, but it just shows that fabric being an extra piece, if that makes sense. I'm going to do all 8 pieces of that. That's quite easy. I could have used a scoring tool, but it was fairly easy to do that freehand. Okay, so all 8 pieces done now, and then I realised that the edges of those flaps are a little bit sharp, so I just get my scissors and round the corners off a little bit. They kind of look like pizza slices there, right? Okay, all 8 are done. So the next thing I'm going to do is put a bit of mixed media on the background. I just want to put a hint of blue around it so that it looks like sky. We're sort of underneath the parasol here, I guess. And so I want us to be able to see the sky above. So I'm going to draw a circle on the centre of the page, exactly the same size as I did my parasol, just to give an idea of where the mixed media has to go. I'm finding the centre of my page, drawing the big circle, and then I know that it has to be outside of that blue to be seen on my layout. So I'm using a Distress Oxide ink here, I think it's called Peacock Feathers. And I'm just using a little makeup brush to smudge it around, just a very subtle mixed media look. So you start your makeup brush off in the middle, because it doesn't matter what that looks like, you just want the outside edges to be evenly smudged. So put my little pieces back on just to make sure that I can see the blue around it. And that's what I wanted, just a very subtle hint. And then I'm going to add some splatters. So there we go. I just put some ink on that piece of plastic, added some water, and now I'm just using a brush to splatter it round. And then once that's dry, there we go, I'm going to put my segments back on. Okay, so that's how it looks, and I'm quite happy with that. I want to add some dimension to this parasol. And so I'm going to put some foam, this is double-sided foam, underneath one edge. So not onto the flap, but just below the flap. I'm going to add a piece of foam there on all 8 pieces. And I've skipped through that so that you can just don't have to watch me do them all. There we go. So I need to stick them down, and I do ultimately stick the edges. I don't think I actually do it on this video, but I did it later on once I'd finished the layout. But here I'm just going to put some double-sided tape in the middle and stick the centre pieces, just so that they're in place while I'm making the layout and they don't move. I'm going to tuck some things underneath the edges, so I just didn't want to stick everything down until I'd done all of the layouts. Okay, so I'm happy with that. That looks like a nice parasol from below. And there's my photo. It's just my niece on the beach a few years ago. And yeah, I think about putting that metal brad in the centre. I don't actually leave it there because I want to move my photo over, but for now it's there. And I do use the brad, just not in that particular place. But I was thinking that could be a way of showing the centre of the parasol. Okay, so I'm going to put some tissue paper on the back of my photo, and that's just going to give me a bit of separation between the photo and all that colour that I have on there. I think about using one of these chipboard frames, but I don't actually use it. I feel that it's just too big for this particular design, but I do love those frames. They're really cool to use. So I'm looking for some embellishments now to put on my page, and I have a sun there, chipboard sun, which I think looks really cute up and poking out from behind the parasol. And these bits and pieces here, these are the journal bits and pieces, and I pick out a few pieces from there. I love that big ice lolly. That's what we call it in England. Not sure what it's called in America, but we call it an ice lolly. And yeah, I put a few little tabs there around the parasol as well, because I think that looks quite sweet. I think about using that title there, that little banner, but I don't use that. These are the other bits and pieces in the kit, and there's all sorts of things in here, really nice. And I like the little cluster pieces like that with the beach ball, the bucket, and the parasol, because I think it's just nice to have a little cluster that's already made for you. And I'm going to add an extra beach ball to that cluster, and I think that looks really cute. I'm going to use this title, Hello Summer. I've stuck it to the page, which was a bit silly because I want to move it and I have to be really careful to get that off. They're super sticky, so just be careful of that. And I'm going to put some talcum powder on the back of them just to stop them sticking to anything, and I'll glue them down later just so that I can move them around. Little tip there, if something's sticky, if you just add a bit of talc to it, it just makes them non-sticky and helps you to do all this sort of thing. It's good with stickers as well. Okay, so sort of getting to the point of sticking things. Adding another journal piece at the side there, that says just another day in paradise, which I thought was very cute. And I'm sticking down those little tabs that I put at the side. That one says lovely memories. This one says sunshine vibes, and the other one says sunny days. So I'm just sticking those underneath. I like how that looks. I think about using that hose pipe. I don't use it in the end, but just playing with things here. So I'm going to use some sticky back foam as well for my photo, just to give that a bit of extra dimension on the page. Lots of dimension here. Stick that underneath. I'm going to stick down that big ice lolly. And the photo itself. And I'm going to pop up this embellishment set on some foam as well, just because half of it's going to sit on the photo, so it needs to be popped off the page to work on the left. And then I'm going to pop up this ball, so the photo's popped up and the ball's popped up, so there's lots of 3D dimension on here, but works for me. So I'm going to put some glue now on here because it's not sticky anymore. I was just wiping off the excess talc there with my hands. So that looks cute. Hello Summer. I love that font. I think it's really cute. I'll stick down that brad that I had originally there. It's got a little seagull on, which I think is super cute. And then I've got some bees here. Puffy sticker bees, foam stickers, and they look really sweet, buzzing around the page, I think. A little ice cream there on the left next to summer. Just all adds to this summer vibe. I'm adding that other brad in there that says Summer Lovin, just next to the umbrella there. And now I want to add something at the top and bottom on these white edges, and I'm just going to put a couple of strips of washi there that match with the umbrella. So we have the yellow gingham and the stripy, colourful stripy, and I think that looks really nice. Just adds that extra little bit at the top and bottom. Bit of interest there, so that it's not just purely white around the edges. There we go. I just stick them over the edge so that I've got a nice neat edge to it. Then I'm going to stick down the sun. I cut a bit off of it first actually because of the foam, but there you go, that's the final layout. I hope you like it and I hope it gives you some inspiration. Please do let me know if you have any questions. I'll be happy to answer them, but in the meantime here are some close-ups for you to take a look at, and I'll see you next time. This has been Vicky for Simple Stories. Thank you, bye bye.